Hello everyone, my name is Ally Irakoze and thank you all for watching this video. This is a vlog video where I'll be analyzing three different news articles, online articles, and my first article is titled Vicious Assault Shakes Texas Town. So it was published by the New York Times on the 8th March 2011. My second article I've been analyzing is called the Apple announced iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus as the biggest advancement in iPhone history. So this article was published by the Apple Press Info on the September 9th, 2014. So the third story I'll be sharing with you is titled Grief and Protest Shooting of Teenager. It was published also by the New York Times on the August 10, 2014. So I'm going to be analyzing these stories by discussing about if they assessing whether each story meets the criteria of the credibility and reliability in these three stories. So starting with the first story, titled Vicious Assault Shakes Texas Town. So this article was reported of the story is independent because he is reporting about the gang rape of the girl without including his own opinion. So this shows this reporter is like he used multiple sources while reporting to create a fair and unbiased balance of opinions. For instance, he used Stacey Gatlin and Sheila Harrison and also Houston and others. So analyzing this news, these sources is used like news stories, like the sources of this story are like verified as they show some evidence of what happened. Like for instance, police went to the abandoned mobile home where the assault continued, and this source also is like authoritative and informed because the information given are accurate and complete, as well as sources are trusted in giving the information. So for instance, there are sources of information used which are known in providing reliable information like affidavit and Stacey Gatlin. So actually the sources which were used in this news are named and good at providing credible and reliable information. So from this discussion, it is seen that this story meets the criteria in credibility and validity grid. So from my point of view, this story is credible, and it is due to the fact that it is comprised most of the things which makes a given story to be credible and reliable. So for instance, it has a title, the author known and trusted also. So and the source of the information, like it's New Times. New Times is like the publication date is there also, and looking at the news story has evidence, which are the most things which make this news story to be reliable and trusted with the audience. So going to the next article, Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancements in iPhone history. To analyze this story, the hints which are in the credibility and validity grid are considered. So firstly, the reporter shows self-interest in this article, and it is because he is showing all benefit of using iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus without giving any negative sides of those iPhones. He only demonstrated the positive side, and the question can be asked where there isn't any negativity to those phones. The reporter also showed the features of these phones by showing he's interested, and he only used one source of information to this news story, which he used Tim Cook, who is the CEO of Apple, and this is due to the fact that the company of Apple, it is the one which published the information. So here this the source of information is asserted not verified, and this is because there is no source of information beside Apple's, who gives evidence related to both iPhones. Actually, the source is exact, authoritative, and informed due to the fact like it's describing very well both iPhones by like going deep on all features which can lead to better understanding the audience. So for instance, the way he was describing the iPhone 6 Plus, users will be benefiting from optical image and stabilization technology that compensates for handshake in low light and works with iOS 8 to reduce subject motion. So the high definition video on iPhone improves with faster frame rates up to 60 it rates from 60 fps to like 1080 pixel video and like 240 fps for slow motion. So he continued talking about like the source of this news is like named is Apple. Is the CEO is the only source who was used on this article, and talking about like both iPhones. So briefly, the news story is not credible as it doesn't meet criteria for credibility and validity of the story. So because like there are no evidence, there is only one source, and the one source is not verified because it's the owner of the product, like they try to advertise, and the other is interested of this like product, and he's giving his just opinion about his work. So all of those things make the news story not to be credible. So going to the last story, which is the third story, titled "The Grief and Protest Shooting of a Teenager," also by the New York Times. So this article is like characterized by the following criteria of the validity and credibility. So the reporters of this news story did not show any self-interest. As I was reading, it is because they were like actually reporting what happened without involving their ideas and what really happened. Moreover, the reporters were independent. The reporters of this news story provided information from multiple sources of information, like they use Louis Head, Chief Belmar, and also Antonio French, Esther Haywood, Thomas Jackson, Brian Lewis, and Leslie McSpadden, etc. So this really shows that the story has many sources as well as much information. So the source given in the news story are verified. For instance, Mr. French said that he was unsatisfied with the police department's explanation of the shooting, according to Bosman and Fitzsimmons, 2014. So the sources are very authoritative and informed because the quotes they provided show the knowledge about the subject matter. So, for instance, a struggle occurred over the officer's weapon, and at least one shot was fired inside the car. Chief Medbah said, "This shows the information were like research on, and it was like followed." So the source of this news story contains different name sources like Esther Country Police Chief and John Belmar and others. So on my opinion, this news story is credible and is showed by the main source and the publisher, which is the New Times. So this is because it is one among the famous source of like news and trustworthy newspaper in the United States and other areas around the world. So thank you so much for watching my video.